Ow, ow. According to the Hammer Bullets website, they've got the 140 grain absolute hammer running about 265 feet per second faster than its counterpart, the 140 grain Hammer Hunter, out of a 22-inch 280 AI. And then I got online and found somebody who developed a new load using Win 6.5 stabilizer, and I want to say they got it up to 3420. And so my 280 AI Savage barrel is only 20 inches long, and in order for me to profit from a 140 grain absolute hammer, I really need to be running it right around 32 to 3250 FPS. So I'm starting low, but I'm really concerned about this powder because this is kind of a slow powder. And when I was running Ally Reloader 16, I pressured out right at 3200, and I really had severe pressure cases. So I'm going to start low here and then work it up to 63 grains. They went up all the way to 64, but they said the accuracy and the pressures were really high, so I'm going to stop at 63. And so let me get this all set up, and I'm only going to take about 2 to 3 shots at a time, and I've got a still target set up at 200 yards. And these are fully fire formed cases. I'm going to go ahead and jump up to 57. Point of clarification as I'm letting the barrel cool here a second. The reason I need to get these up to 3,200 FPS is I've already got a sweet load with 160 grain running at 2852. And so the trade-off is if I could get this up to 3,200 FPS, that'll put me about 300 feet per second faster, but also about 300 foot-pounds of energy more at 500 yards, because that's going to be the max that I'm going to hunt. And so if I could accomplish that, I'm going to run with the 140s versus the 160s when I go up to Colorado this fall. Still looks good. I just looked up the difference on Ballistic AE and I Stray Lock. If I could get this up to 3,200, that's about an 11-inch drop at 500 yards. It's 6.25, I believe, at 500 yards dial up, and that's 8.25 with the 160s. And then also I compared it on I Stray Lock. According to the holdover, we're basically at the second mil dot for the 140s, but for the 160s, I'm about halfway down between the second and third mil dot. All right, 3 more bullets, here we go. That's sticky, see that? I'm gonna bet that primer popped. Here are the cases starting at 54 grains all the way up to 63, but the one that matters most is at case number 62. And if you look right under my fingernail there, let me zoom in, you will see that ejection mark. And when I say slight, that's really slight. Today is roughly about 95 degrees, and I'm hunting in Colorado in October. I'm gonna guess it'll be between 35 and 65 at most, so I'm not worried about those pressures. I went ahead and did the velocity splits. I always like to see that there's not any crazy jump like that between the load that I am working on. As you can see, these are all pretty consistent that are there, and it always starts to flatten out when you get to the highest loads that are there. Now I went back into the apps, and particularly I Stray Lock, the one that matters most for me when I'm going to be in Colorado. If I'm using the 160s at the 2855 FPS, I'm literally between the second and third mil dot. But with this load at 100, the 140 grain absolute hammers running at 3280, I'm literally sitting at the top part of the second mil dot, which means it's just completely flatter. More importantly, when I got into Ballistic AE, which are the numbers that I truly like. Oh, look at the butterfly. ADHD moment here. Is that a moth or a butterfly? That's a moth. Either way, that's cool. Anyways, when I got into Ballistic AE, the 140s don't drop below 2,000 FPS until I'm at 600 yards, and the 160s drop below 2,000, I want to say right around 450 yards. So I'm going to go with the 140 grain absolute hammers at 3280 FPS, and we'll go down there and take a look at the steel. And I think you guys are going to be impressed that even with all of these low developments, how constant that bullet is hitting that steel. One last thing before I head up to the house, I just got onto, come on, woo, just got onto Nosler's website, and they're running the 140 grain bullet at 3260 FPS using a 26-inch barrel. I'm getting 3280 out of a 20-inch barrel. That's the benefit of running the Absolute Hammer bullets. Now, according to their website, they said that this is only for the experienced reloaders, and that's true. But if you want to run with a lighter system, kind of the way that I am, and you want to get like those high velocities, definitely check out the Absolute Hammers. There's been enough guys that have been developing loads for the Absolute that you probably can reference enough information to develop your own load.